Yo, what's going on guys? Alex here, and today I want to talk some more about Assassin Creed Mirage, the next installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise, slated to launch at some point this year. It is definitely shaping up to be a pretty exciting title, at least from the information they have shown and spoken about thus far, especially for those of you guys that have been fans of the series for quite some time, maybe from the very beginning, because this does promise to be a sort of a return to origin, so to speak, with a lot of the mechanics, the narrative structure, and the sort of general gameplay flow, harkening back to the more traditional Assassin's Creed titles as opposed to the newer, more RPG focused experiences. Both of them are fantastic, but they do admittedly cater to drastically different audiences. And for those of you guys that perhaps are a little bit tired of the RPG setup, the vast open landscapes, umpteen side quests, hundreds of pieces of gear, things like that, then this might be for you. But more importantly, there was recently an interview that spoke a little bit about the potential map size for this and how Mirage actually looks to have a smaller map than some of the more recent games, which again would definitely line up with the sort of direction for the title. So let's talk about it. If you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions. Let me know what you guys think about what you've heard of Assassin's Creed Mirage so far. Are you looking forward to this? Are you still on the fence? Do you need to sort of see and hear more? And also let us know, what is your favorite Assassin's Creed game to date? So to begin with, as mentioned, the game was revealed in September last year. Admittedly, there was a series of leaks first, but there was of course an official announcement soon after, and it did come with a pretty awesome trailer. Now again, the last few iterations of the Assassin's Creed series, things like Valhalla, Odyssey, Origin, have of course been much more RPG focused. They have quests, they have a large map, some of them of course have different options for how and where you will of course take the story. You have plenty of different gear options, skill trees, all that kind of stuff. But again, Mirage is going to take the series back to its roots, and according to a recent interview from Games Radar with Ubisoft's creative director, Stéphane Boudon, part of the reason behind scaling down is thanks to the fans. They actually said, and I quote, "Mirage's creation has been the convergence of several inputs. Of course, the first one comes from our community. Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, they're all fantastic games with the promise to live an epic journey in a strong fantasy, and their scopes have been calibrated to fulfill those ambitions as they all embrace the RPG mechanics. But amongst our fans, we started hearing the desire for a character-driven story, focused on the core pillars of the first Assassin's Creeds in a more intimate scale. They then went on to say that it resonates with us as well as developers, as this was the starting point of the project." And while of course it is nice to sort of hear Ubisoft listen to the fans and of course taking this stuff into consideration, it's also worth mentioning they stated that Mirage specifically is the perfect project for this, because following the release of Valhalla's first DLC, Wrath of the Druids, Mirage has a much more focused scope, and they of course have more time to polish up important features, and all of this came from part of the team that actually wanted a match for a smaller game. So basically it seems that while the RPG stuff has been fantastic and has of course allowed for incredible worlds to be created, it seems that even internally at Ubisoft they wanted a much smaller, much more sort of focused scope, so they truly can drill down on the characters, the story, the narrative, and deliver on the sort of true Assassin's Creed fantasy, which again, for a while has been a little bit more sort of inventive, shall we say. Of course, there are definitely still clearly Assassin elements to all of those titles, but if you compare, say, something like Valhalla to something like Assassin's Creed 1 or 2, the whole Assassin element is definitely a lot less prevalent. So of course, with that being said, with Mirage having a much more focused scope, it also suggests there will be a smaller map. Does not mean to say a small map per se, but of course, if you are offering a game that has a more focused scope, a more focused story, a much more sort of a narrative-driven experience, you don't necessarily need to have a huge Odyssey, Valhalla, Origin scale open world map with a million things to do, because you're going to spend most of your time running from point A to point B. But personally, that is something that I'm quite excited about, because while I do like open worlds, I've always been much more of a fan of worlds that actually have lots of things to do. So if you can populate an open world with plenty of exciting things, then that's fine. But if your open world ends up just being a slog to sort of get through, then I would much rather a smaller map. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If Mirage of course does look to have a smaller scope than previous titles, is that something that you'll be happy with? Or of course, do you prefer the RPG focus with much broader scope? Anyway, with that being said, that's pretty much it. Quick little rundown on a recent interview talking about some of the sort of design influence for Mirage. Again, as when we find out more information later on this year, the team will be sure to keep you guys posted. But for the time being, thanks for watching. And of course, if you missed some of our recent videos, you can check out one of these ones and keep it locked for plenty more.